So how do we create a password generator in Python? I'm WJ Pierce for Cybergrade, and today we're going to be looking at exactly how we do that. This is just one video in a playlist of cybersecurity based Python videos, so if you're interested in cybersecurity projects and Python, go back and watch them. It's going to give you a good understanding of both. So let's get started. We've got our empty file here. It's called python-passgen, and then we've got our actual script here. We're going to take it over bit by bit and build it together. So the first part we need are these two import statements. These import statements are going to give us the functionality that we need to do to create this password. So the first one is random, and that's basically a dice roll function that's going to give us the ability to create a random output given inputs. We then have string, and again you're probably thinking, well, doesn't Python have the ability to work with strings already? And the answer is yes, it does, but not to the degree that we need. Remember, a string in Python is just an array of bytes representing some Unicode, so the more we can mess with them and the more we can add a layer of functionality to them that is going to give us a little bit more complexity, when creating a password, that can only be a good thing, right? So this string library is going to give us that ability to do that. Now we can go and grab the bulk of the script here, which is just our one and only function for this script. It's a pretty short script, but it does get kind of complicated within it, and we can make it really as complicated as we want, depending on how complicated we want that password to be. So we're calling this function generate password. We're passing in a parameter called length, and we're setting a data type integer, and we're setting it a default to 10. Now this little bit here is known as optional type hinting, and it's basically saying that down within the script, we're going to expect something to change the length of what we expect the password to be. But if that argument isn't passed in, just give it a default value of 10. We're then setting a variable called alphabet on line 5, and we're concatenating 3 string statements together. So using the string library that we spoke about earlier, we can effectively create a huge list of all the ASCII letters, all the digits, and all the punctuation on a US or UK keyboard, and then we can store them in the script's memory. We then come down to the password and we say password equals, we set a blank statement and we join and then use the random library that we spoke about earlier. And it's going to say, I want you to choose from this big, huge, long variable of all the ASCII characters, all the digits and all the punctuation for however many characters we've set the length to be, which in our case is 10. I want you to create a new string out of that called password, and then we're going to return the password. Now it's a little bit complicated, but you'll kind of see what I mean when we import it and print it at the end. Finally, we need to do the printing. So we can take these last 2 lines here and pop them into our script and just shift this back a little bit. So we're setting a new variable and we're saying, I want this variable to be the output of generate password. And then we are setting our print statement. So we're giving a little bit of text to the user, and then we're asking it to pass in that new variable, which we've set the output of generate password. So hopefully it will be print generated password and then actually the generated password. So I'll just move this a little bit so you can see. And then I'll move this up a little bit. And with any luck, if we run Python, save this first, Python passman, oh, not passman, passgen.py, it'll say command not found because I always misspell Python. There we go, and it's given us a generated password. This was a pretty basic project you could do if you're just getting into Python or just getting into cybersecurity. It's kind of one of the textbook Python 101 things that you might find in any sort of Python book, just a simple password generator. It's going to teach you about importing libraries like the string and the random one. And if you really enjoyed that video, or if you've enjoyed any videos in this playlist, it would mean a lot to me if you could subscribe. Thanks very much, and see you in the next